Please be sure to subscribe to the channel to update the fastest and most accurate news.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my Journalism of the Heart news channel. The story for today is one-time Australian TV game show king Andrew O'Keefe screamed at a magistrate, claiming he had no interest in justice, and was threatened with contempt of court after he was again denied bail. The 50-year-old appeared visibly distressed and frustrated as he faced Sydney's Central Local Court on Wednesday afternoon via AVL from Dornborough Loas Correctional Centre. Mr. O'Keefe was hit with 6 charges in January after police alleged that he grabbed a woman by the throat, punched her and pushed her to the ground. He pleaded not guilty to all charges, including intentionally choking a person without consent, 3 counts of common assault and 1 count of assault occasioning actual bodily harm. In the weeks after the arrest, police laid a further charge after they found Mr. O'Keefe with 1.5 grams of marijuana. He has pleaded guilty to 1 charge of possessing a prohibited drug and is yet to be sentenced. Through his lawyers, Mr. O'Keefe has previously claimed that he was acting in self-defense and the victim of an assault himself. The complainant has not been charged with any offence. Mr. O'Keefe has been remanded in custody since his arrest and lost a bid for bail in the New South Wales Supreme Court in March. Defence lawyer Sharon Ramsden presented a fresh application for bail on Wednesday, claiming there is a special circumstance of a bed being available at a long-term rehabilitation centre in Port Stephens. She also argued that more evidence had been served on Mr. O'Keefe that outlined the lack of injury on the complainant. "It is not my intention to rehash everything and waste your time," Ms. Ramsden told the court. "There were further brief service items which support my client." Over the almost 2-hour bail hearing, Mr. O'Keefe was audibly frustrated over what was being said in court and said he could not see the court on his AVL screen. A police prosecutor opposed the bail application and said there was no new information other than some photographs of the complainant. "There's not fresh circumstances in what has been put before the court. He has been in rehab 9 times, he said. Mr. O'Keefe spoke over the prosecutor to deny the allegations as Magistrate Daniel Rice warned him he would be going backwards by speaking up. "That's simply not true, Your Honour," Mr. O'Keefe said, raising his voice. "I'm just getting the truth out there." Mr. Rice said the significant difference between the previous bail applications was that there was now the chance to go to a long-term rehabilitation centre. He told the court it was troubling that Mr. O'Keefe's alleged offending went on while already on bail. The 50-year-old erupted in anger. "Alleged behaviour, Your Honour, nothing is confirmed. Are you trying to sabotage your own application?" the magistrate replied. Mr. O'Keefe continued to interrupt and shake his head in frustration as Mr. Rice told the court of the 50-year-old's mental health and drug issues. Despite multiple pleas from Ms. Ramsden to be quiet and only say something when spoken to, Mr. O'Keefe continued. Mr. Rice told the court that Mr. O'Keefe had significant attitudinal problems. "It's not an attitudinal problem, it's a technical problem," Mr. O'Keefe replied. The magistrate warned that Mr. O'Keefe was bordering on being in contempt of court. "I've dealt with many defendants, some are psychotic and are not as hard to deal with as you. Someone with legal qualifications and 10 warnings should know how to deal with it," Mr. Rice said. "You're a lawyer, there's 2 sides to every story, you should know that." Mr. Rice said he was going to grant Mr. O'Keefe bail to go to the rehabilitation centre until he witnessed his attitude in court. "That caused Mr. O'Keefe to become enraged. I would have been inclined to grant bail if not for the ongoing behaviour of Mr. O'Keefe in the court," Mr. Rice said. "Someone who is qualified as a lawyer and has been in court on several occasions, there have been several warnings. I am presented with a man who cannot be trusted with complying with directions." Mr. Rice denied bail, saying he was not willing to allow the unacceptable risk of letting Mr. O'Keefe leave custody. Mr. O'Keefe gathered his papers and stood up before saying, "The transcript will say I was not arguing, I was trying to help you, Your Honour. You have no interest in justice," Mr. O'Keefe continued before storming out of the AVL suite. Mr. Rice told Ms. Ramsden that Mr. O'Keefe would need to apologise to the court, otherwise he would be found in contempt. "There will be a contempt citation unless he retracts and apologises for his behaviour," he said. "He will need to retract that, otherwise there will be contempt proceedings." Mr. O'Keefe will return to court for a hearing in June. After a successful 17-year partnership, Channel 7 dumped Mr. O'Keefe following a series of public scandals and personal struggles that reportedly impacted production of hit game show The Chase Australia. Before launching The Chase, Mr. O'Keefe fronted Weekend Sunrise, Deal or No Deal, The Rich List, and other primetime specials, including the Logie Awards. He was awarded an Order of Australia for his work on television and in the charity space, including as a former ambassador for anti-domestic violence organisation White Ribbon. That is all for today news. Please make sure to leave your comment and subscribe the channel below for more news update. Thank you for watching.